Hi guys, my name is Natalie and this is my unit curriculum for our final project. So my theme is identity. I designed this theme for a unit for high school intermediate students. This will be a 9-week long unit with multimedia projects. I designed it for the first project to be done within a week and the following 4 projects to be done simultaneously. And if you want to see how I scheduled everything, you can check my unit map. Basically, it works with staggering deadlines and setting up stations around the room so students can work where they would like to. I find it really effective. So the enduring ideas, what I want students to come away from with this is that humans are multifaceted. We are influenced and are influenced by our environment. It's a give and take. There's no one source that determines our identity. And making art is a form of self-discovery. I strongly believe that's why humans are compelled to make art. It's a form of discovering. So for project 1, this was my lesson plan that I uploaded with nature-based print. So there's an interdisciplinary science focus here where the students will be learning about the local environment and printing outdoors with a lot of technical challenges. And this is really going to introduce them to an overarching theme of process as it relates to product, that one is not necessarily better than the other and both have benefits in art. So the essential question here is, how does the natural world affect humans? How do your natural surroundings influence you? Can the environment influence or dictate your identity? So this is a materials heavy project and there are lots of substitutions you can do. So the art history connection here are the Great Serpent Mound, which if you look at it, I think that could be like environmental art installation. It just almost has that look to it. So that is in Ohio. We have the Chinese landscape painting, which takes a really different approach than Western landscape paintings. And of course, we have a classic Dutch painting, View on a High Road, from 1665. So we've got that global perspective, sort of a timeline, how all across the world people are exploring the land and interacting with the land. Then with our contemporary connection, we have Mark Iwinski, who I based the lesson off of. And we have the Surrounded Islands by Christo and Jean-Claude. So this unit will also cover the environmental art movement and sort of how dealing with the environment has moved from literal representation to conceptual representation and interaction. So project 2 continues with that theme that instead of printing from natural environments, you'll print from man-made environments, like perhaps a keyboard, a piece of paper, maybe a piece of paper. You could print from a keyboard or a man-made surface, and connecting that to the way artists have utilized objects in still lifes to represent themes and their personalities overall. So how do the objects in your environment reflect or affect your identity? Do we define our environment or does our environment define us? How do physical objects reflect our identities? So the materials here will be the same and a lot of the objectives will be similar as well, but this is one where I want students to select their own printing surface and bring it into class. And this was actually a suggestion that I got in the discussion board, so thank you very much for suggesting. Project 3 is going to be the first of the tandem units. This is going to be based off of surrealist exercises from the 20th century. So much happening during this time period. Freud and Jung were pioneering modern psychology, and they also were ending the Second World War. So much happening in the world, and this was their response to it. But the essential questions were, how do our conscious and unconscious minds interact? Why do we search for meaning in images? Which is more important to us, our unconscious mind or our conscious mind? And this is a theme that's been dealt with in my curriculum map. I have links to the Maoris, Aboriginals from Australia, and also the practice of making dream catchers from North America. So our unconscious has fascinated humans for centuries. So there'll be a variety of activities from surrealist artists. You can see more in my handout. And the product here will be heavily based on based on process, but 3 or more exercises selected, whether for their aesthetic value or for their emotional significance to the artist. So 2 examples, one of the exquisite corpse collaborative exercise, and one of this really cool practice where you smush paint between 2 surfaces, take it away, and you can either leave it as an abstract, or you can edit it as Remedios Varo did to make it more representational. Project 4 is going to be my aesthetic puzzle, so that deals with Confederate monuments. This will not be an art project. It'll be, students will develop a presentation. They'll have a discussion and a Q&A session. There'll be a lot of questions posed to students, and they'll divide up based on which questions they want to answer. So this would be a connection with history, social studies, and hopefully the school library would partner to help provide some resources. So computer access would definitely be preferred for this unit. So, and the essential question is, why is context important in art? Are monuments art? Does historical knowledge help us analyze art? And do monuments pose a threat to public safety? That was a real debate that's being had in North Carolina about one of our Confederate monuments. So our art history connection, of course, I picked Roman art because the Confederate monuments of the South were deliberately imitating these classical monuments. So it's really important to have an understanding of how they worked together and that relationship that they had. Then our contemporary connection, Rumors of War by Kehinde Wiley, is a bronze sculpture that was actually placed in Richmond, Virginia, along what's basically like a entire road full of Confederate monuments. So using the same archetypes, using the same imagery, using the same material, but a completely different effect. It's got a Black man with ripped jeans in a hoodie, and it's really inspiring to me. I think it's really cool. We also have a series of lithographs, Runaways by Glenn Ligon, and I encourage you to look at the YouTube video I have for his conceptual background behind that. Basically, he asked people to describe him and posted their descriptions of him as if he was posting a runaway slave poster, and really startling. So a series of lithographs that he did. In Project 5, our final project is going to be a symbolic self-portrait. And this is largely based off of Frida Kahlo. So students will paint a representational portrait, including surreal and symbolic elements. Students are encouraged to search for symbolism or to develop their own symbolism. You can just develop it off of what associations come naturally to you. What is symbolic based on your life experience? So the essential questions are, how important is the physical self? Why do artists paint themselves? How has the nature of portraiture changed over time? It used to be a necessity, but now we have photography. Why do we still do portraits? So the materials here will be your basic painting materials: acrylic paint, paintbrushes, acrylic mediums, canvas. If students wanted to incorporate other materials, I would allow that on a case-by-case basis, but by and large, it should be a painting. And the product, of course, will be the self-portrait. So we have the art history connection. Largely, self-portraiture was mostly used in Europe. So we have some excellent self-portraits here that I think do use a strong degree of symbolism, either in their lighting, in their nature. And then we have a contemporary connection. Patrick Quorum is, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, is not a self-portrait artist, but he is a symbolic portrait artist who has such beautiful thoughts on how identity relates to image. So for our assessment, there will be a 4-pronged assessment approach. There's going to be the final product, participation throughout. That includes peer assessments and peer critiques in partnerships, in addition to participating in group discussions. The critiques themselves, the final critiques, as well as written reflections. So I want all of those to factor in equally to the grade, so that you're getting the best view of the student's comprehension. So thank you so much for your time and attention. And if you have further questions, please look at my curriculum map. I hope this video works well. Okay, we're gonna figure out how to stop it now. We're gonna figure it out. 1,